Okay.
Hi, Ken Minsky again. We're loading up the boat, heading for the river, going to do some fly fishing for trout. Well, we've arrived at the river and we're getting ready to put the boat in. One thing we're going to do before we go is we're going to switch out this pyramid anchor for this length of chain. The reason we want this chain is it's going to help keep the boat straight as we drift down the current. Not necessarily to slow the boat, but to just keep the boat heading up current as we go, and it's going to help us match the speed of the boat to the speed of the river. Well, we've arrived at the river. We're getting ready to deploy our drag chain. I just want to spend a minute or two here to show you what we're going to be fishing with and why. What I have here is a standard floating 6-weight fly rod, 9 foot. And today we're primarily going to be looking for brown trout. There's some rainbows in here too, but the browns run a little bigger. We're going to be trying to target those. And before we start, because this is a dry fly that floats, it has a tendency to get a little waterlogged. So we're going to take a little bit of floating and we're going to put that liberally on the fly and rub it in well. And when we get done with that, this is where a lot of folks tend to forget about doing something that's real important. We're going to keep a lot of that on our fingers. And we're going to run that down the leader, as well as we got the tippet, the leader, and the very end of the fly line. This is going to help keep the whole system floating, because like I say, it has a tendency to become waterlogged. What we have for a tippet here is we have an old trout leader cut back. That's about 5 feet long or 6, and then we've looped in a tippet material consisting of 4-pound test monofilament instead of fluorocarbon, and then we've attached our fly. So the whole leader system is going to be about 8 or 9 or 10 feet long. The reason we're using a nylon leader instead of a fluorocarbon is nylon has better floating characteristics. It's not quite as abrasion resistant as fluorocarbon, but because these flies tend to twist while we cast, we oftentimes have to replace this tippet fairly often. So we're not too worried about the abrasions. Oh, missed it. Oh, does that look good? We got a nice little drift going here. Important to keep that fly close to shore as you can in this water.
Okay.
Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Come on. Say in dry fly fishing, cast long and drift short. That means a lot of casting. Luckily, the line's all out, so it's pretty much just picking it up and laying it back down again. The most important thing is keeping that fly close to shore, in the strike zone. This is a part of the White River, and this is a tailwater. And this is also power generation tailwater, which means that we've got 8 units of generation possible. Right now they're running around 4 or 5 units. And what happens when they run a lot of water is it's easier to swim towards the bottom and towards the shore. So the fish will get pushed towards the shore because it's easier to swim. There's less current. So that's why it's important that we keep this dry fly in the shallow water as close to shore as possible to get those fish that have been pushed towards the shore, down in the rocks and the weeds, looking up, waiting for a meal to come by. Well, that was exciting. We just had a nice take. Big brown trout broke me off, and that was my last fly with a pink belly. So one thing that I like to do is I carry a pink drum marker with me. I've got a tan fly here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to color his belly. That's the only part the fish really pay attention to. I'm going to color his belly pink. We've had a pretty good run on the pink flies this year because it's been a hot color, and all the fishermen have bought them all up, and they can't keep up with them. So I'm going to use a dry marker to save the day. Okay, there we go. There we go. Nice fish. Nice fish. Just came up. Took that hopper as please. Nice little brown trout. Oh yeah. Oh, he's fighting. He looks good. Yeah, he's a spinning. He's a spinning. Oh, it's a pretty looking fish. Pretty looking fish. We're gonna get a net on here. Stay in the water now. Stay in the water. Whoa. Oh. Yeah, isn't that pretty? My goodness gracious. That's about the prettiest thing that you're going to see. Right there. That is brown trout. And that's what fishing's all about. This is pretty as can be.
There you go.
We're gonna get the hook out of him. Oh boy, he ate that thing. Yes, he did. My. Just as nice and pretty as you can. There we go. There we go. Nice fish. We're going to give him about 18 inches. Let's see. We don't want to cheat. Aha. 21 inch brown trout. Man alive. On a grasshopper, on a dry fly. Woo! Well, that was a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, brown trout on the fly rod, it really doesn't get much better than that, unless of course it's something bigger. Anyway, we're getting ready to go back. One thing you want to do before you start fishing again after a nice fish like that is you want to make sure to check your leader for nicks. That fish swallowed that bait. He ate it, and he ate it good. So I like to take my fingers and run it over this tippet here, the last 6 or 8 inches. Make sure there's not any nicks or scrapes in there, because it is only 4-pound test, and it's only as strong as its weakest little point, and that's generally those knots or any little nicks. We're also going to take this time, take a little more of this dry fly goop and put on there, and make sure that this fly, that pink that we put on with the dry marker, no one can ever say for sure or not that that's what did the trick. But I'll tell you what, if we would have fished all night and not caught anything, I'd have been wishing we had some take. Well, we've got a pretty piece of shoreline coming up. Sounds like we've got an airplane in the background getting ready to take off. It's so important in fishing that you have proper boat control. And can keep the boat where it needs to be. Too far from shore and you can't get up close enough, too close to shore, and you spook the fish. Right now the conditions that we have are still about 4 units generating water, but it's dropping a little bit. But it looks like it might have came back up here. This watermark on these rocks here. We've got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot to fish here. Oh, we got a leaf. That's not good. And we're a little too close. I'm going to reposition the boat, take this leaf off, and I got a real good idea. I got a real good hunch we're going to get ourselves into. Look at those crazy old sycamore leaves. Maybe we can get ourselves another fish.
No.
Well, just had another nice fish come up. Nice lazy take. Well, whether or not I missed him or he didn't quite eat, hard to say. Running out of daylight here shortly. It's a good time to be fishing if we can keep our eye on we can still see our fly here. It's getting out there about, I'd say close to 20 yards. And as evening sets on, those flies get harder and harder to see. But this is a great place. We've got exactly the kind of conditions we're looking for. The generation is perfect, and we've got an undercut bank. We've got the kind of environment there where the brown trout can get out of the current and have a place to hide up under those weeds and sticks in the bank. And these are usually clay banks that get undercut. And we've got some weeds that are covered up here. It's just, all in all, it's a perfect place for a nice brown to lay in ambush for an easy meal. And that's what we're hoping to do here. Give them an easy meal. Tiny bit too far out. I'm going to reposition the boat just a little bit closer. Like I said before, boat position is ultra important in this style of fishing. Well, any style of fishing, really. If you're not on the fish or can't cast to them, whether it's bait casting or spinning or fly casting, if you can't get to the fish, your boat's not in the right position, you're going to have to move it. And that's especially true as well in trolling. A lot of people seem to think that you can just throw out behind the boat and troll a lure around and you're going to catch fish, but rock humps and gravel bars, stumps and rocks, it's real important in all kinds of fishing that you've got your boat in the right position, that you can get your bait and fish. And we've got ourselves a beautiful little spot up in there. The trick here is getting the fly close to shore while keeping it out of those nice trees right here, providing all the shade. And that right there is what we say has brown trout written all over it. Just a little closer. Just a little closer. Oh yeah, that's about as pretty as it gets right there. That nice undercut bank. A little too far. Oh. Cast long, drift short. Got a real good chance of getting bit here. Got a nice little midge hatch coming off the water. That's what all these little flies are coming around and pestering me. Luckily they don't bite. This particular part of Arkansas, we don't have any mosquitoes. But those flies just buzzing around you can sure be a nuisance. Well, we're running out of daylight here. Getting a little dark, hard to see the fly. So we're going to have to roll them up, head back for the ramp. What a wonderful day of fishing.